So राजीव जी ये snapshots ले लीजिए, ये वाले snapshots ले लीजिए, next video में you can.
Oh my God, Jyoti.
Right. This would have been much better. This actually if we take on every video, it's good to put it on the YouTube also.
Right.
Otherwise, YouTube is coming blank. Unless it starts, it does not show pictures. So, okay, let us start today's Power Leap. Book review. Did we do book review?
We have been naughty kids.
Seriously, I was going to say seriously.
George,
जब
I
आप
think
छुट्टी
Mr.
दे देते
George
हैं तो
is
हम कुछ
ready
काम
with
नहीं
the.
करते।
Mr. George is ready to enlighten us with the book review.
No. I was very busy. I couldn't. Even now, after hearing from you, only I remember. Oh my God, there was something.
Seriously.
Okay, that's fine. So maybe to next week will be our last Power Leap. So we can do book review at the end next week. And also maybe we can do one more week where we can have feedback for entire 12 Power Leaps. We can discuss any challenges, any outcomes, accountability problems or outcome problems. And take one session at the next week. Next week will be last Power Leap. One more week we will do for review of entire program.
Oh, Prabhu is saying we'll need to be excused for today.
Oh, okay. That's fine. So let us start today's Power Leap, which is on compounding. So how many of you understands compounding?
Adding to the base something more, correct?
Correct. So how important is knowing compounding early in the life?
Longer time.
So you get longer time to be getting wealthy.
More doubling up. For example, if you did it at 20, if you did it at 20 as opposed to 40, as opposed to 60, you'll find the curve grows faster or higher, I should say, 40 and 60.
Correct. Sooner you start, longer time you have for compounding. So there is one question always asked to understand compounding. If everybody has two choices and somebody asks you to select one of them, which one you will select? So I am giving you two choices. One is if you get $1 million today. And second is if you get 1 cent today and it is doubled every day for 30 days, which one will be higher amount?
1 cent.
Second one.
How?
Because it's a double. If you have one today, it will be 2 tomorrow. 3, 4, 8, 16, it is doubling.
But it is cent only. There it is $1 million.
$1 million.
No, the second one is how much?
1 cent per first day, then doubling every day.
No. What is the total amount in the first day?
1 cent. 1 cent of a dollar.
1 cent. Okay.
I would still stick at number 2. 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8.
What about Nupur?
Option 1.
You will go for option 1. Okay.
Me too.
You will also go for option 1.
Yes.
You can take any option because anyway he is not going to give you, no problem.
No.
You should be always ready with taking the choices. Life always gives you choices every day, but you should be ready to select a good one out of the choices available at that moment.
True.
right? So compounding is so powerful. I agree with George first, and then Mr. David definitely stick to item 2. So if you compound every day and double, if you receive 1 cent every day, 1 cent doubling every day for 30 days, you will be getting much higher amount at the end of 30 days compared to $1 million. This is the
Rajiv,
power of compounding.
did you work it out? Did you really work it out?
Yes, I have, but I don't have that sheet right now. But
I
it
don't
is
have the
much
sheet
higher
in
amount.
front of me, but I remember sitting back and doing that for 31 days. Something like $7 million.
Yeah, something around 7, 6, 7.
So can you share the formula? How do you do it?
It's just double, keep on doubling in Excel every day.
Okay.
It will give you
Nupur,
phenomenal result.
What you do is you put 1 to 31 on one column
Yeah.
and get a calculator, which is what I did, and put 1 cent in the first day. Second day, you got 2. And then you multiply that by another 2, you get 4.
Ah,
And then
okay.
and then you multiply another 4 on that, you get 16, and you keep doing it.
Maybe for first, Nipur, maybe for first 22 days, 23 days, you will still not reach to $100,000 only. But last 5 days will make all the difference.
No. I just have one question. Like I multiply 2 into 2, so which becomes 4, right?
Yes.
Then
Then
4 into 2.
4
Again,
into 4.
4 into 4. Oh,
Same figure multiply every day.
All
You will
right.
get double of previous day.
All right. Understood now. 16 into 16. Yes. Okay. Thank you, David. Yeah.
No problem. I'll send you my bill
You
later.
thought that I was fooling? I know this is the old
You're
one.
saying something. I
give it.
missed it, David. You said something.
I said I'll send you my bill and my bank account number.
Oh, yes.
So David, any example in real life who has used the compounding very well in financial world?
Warren Buffett.
Who?
Who is saying Warren Buffett?
I said it.
Monica.
It's a wild guess.
Wild guess, but it's a correct guess.
Yeah, I also read somewhere. I also read this one somewhere.
Yes. It is like a book which has compared 3 people. The only difference in between the 3 was Warren Buffett started it much earlier compared to those 3. And compounding, only the compounding which took Warren Buffett to current status much before these 2. Otherwise, these 2 were earning annual returns much higher than Warren Buffett consistently for more than 15-20 years. But only difference is they started somewhere around 35-37 years of age. But Warren Buffett started when he was 20 years of age. Around that period. I'm not giving the exact figure, but this is the power of compounding. But what calculation we did is like if he is earning 10% consistently annually, so he has built millions in terms of wealth. So compounding even at lower rate can make you multimillionaire. And if you are starting late, chances of getting multiple millionaire are less.
So we have less chances.
So now you are like all of us are starting STF journey almost together. But the difference is there are 2 differences. One is our age is different, and second is our previous experience is different. So these are the 2 major differences among all of us who have started the STF journey together. Will make the lot of difference after 10 years. So do you agree to this or not?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
So like one roadblock of calculation Mr. David has solved for compounding. What are the other roadblocks in understanding or applying this concept? This is purely mathematical concept. We all know if we have done fixed deposit in bank, there are always two options. One is you want to withdraw monthly interest from the bank, or you do fixed deposit of 3 years and receive cumulative interest plus principal at the end of the maturity period. So this is compounding. Yes,
So-
Monica ji.
One of the roadblock that comes to my mind is the weight. For example, you said, $1 million today or a cent. I said, why wait for a cent? Let's go for $1 million, what is available today.
Huh.
So it is the weight which is a roadblock for me.
Okay, okay.
One roadblock, the time period.
One roadblock is quick decision. This is like quick decision. Instead of going into details of the options,
Mhm.
if we take quick decision, that will be the like this. So what we see, we try to take it.
So decision making.
Quick decision making versus evaluated decision making.
You see, when we were growing up in our, I don't know about India, but in my Indian culture in Malaysia, they used to always look for this concept of immediate return as opposed to
Mm.
the term I use is delayed gratification.
Yes,
Has
yes.
anybody heard of this term? Delayed?
Yeah.
Yes,
Because David, this generation, like our kids and all,
Yeah,
they are completely instant gratification. Immediately
Yeah.
they want.
immediately they want.
Yeah.
So
And in the course of that, it was drilled into our heads that you put little by little and you nurture it and you'll see the growth. Whereas today, everything is in this fast-paced community that they need it before it even starts. They need the return. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So
sometimes it works in share market.
yeah,
Sometimes it works in commodity market, but not
Yes.
always.
but the risk factor is higher.
Very high risk.
Yes.
You may gain something, but you may lose entire capital.
Yes.
Mhm.
Both way it is possible. So
That's a roadblock to me, to people don't understand the concepts. And I know it's a theory, but if they understood and taught that, you'd be surprised how many of them will hold back and say, let me wait for it.
correct. So, understanding concept is one, and quick decision making is here. Quick decision making becomes a roadblock. Sometimes quick decision is always like action oriented also. Sometimes like we always connect with procrastination, not taking
Mhm.
decision. Sometimes we take very quick decisions. Sometimes we procrastinate on taking decisions. So evaluation of decision is more important.
Mhm.
And sometimes also we are fearing of doing even small calculations.
Yeah.
This phobia of calculation, sometimes
calculation and numbers,
numbers, phobia
that
of numbers
maths
and
phobia
calculations.
is so much.
This is also a big roadblock,
Mm.
not only for knowing compounding, but for all
Yeah.
investment returns are mathematical calculated, but they are not difficult to understand. But sometimes we run away from the calculations. We just want to see one number, which is like absolute amount in hand, instead of the percentage of returns. What else?
Compounding business will not understand ordinary people immediately. So they always think that, okay, something lump sum is more good, because they don't have the patience to wait and get the benefit of it. That's my understanding.
it's more related to patience or risk of even losing both options.
Both risk of.
Yeah, I think both.
So
Risk of
we
losing both,
think
yeah.
that whatever is coming now, just grab it.
Yes.
Instead of maybe after 30 days, we may not get it. Or who is fool to give every every day money. But mathematically, it is calculated. But in mind, we assume that let us catch bird in hand is better than bird in bush.
Yes.
So that is the mindset. What we
So
do.
again, lack of knowledge only.
No, not lack of knowledge. Here we are saying risk. Means assuming that it is very risky to leave it. So just grab it, what is getting in hand.
Okay.
So getting 6 million after 30 days, you are not sure in mind that you may not get it. Then you will grab the first one. But if you calculate and have trust in the source, then you will go for the second option. So trust is also important. Assuming
Yes.
risk is also important.
Yes.
Anything else?
No.
What about faith and belief it's achievable?
Hmm.
Faith and belief also counterpart of trust only.
Yes.
Means when we have trust, then when we have faith, then trust starts building.
Yeah.
Any other example of compounding in terms of like, let us see in terms of our jobs. When we start a job, is there any compounding angle applicable or not?
In terms of knowledge gains and skill gains, yes.
In terms of knowledge gain, skill gain.
Yes.
So your compounding stays at the same rate, or it is exponential, or it is stagnant after some time.
No, if you gain, if you add value than what is expected, and if you market yourself well, or if you position yourself well, probably you end up getting more than what you are expecting.
Hmm?
No.
It has happened with me.
पैसा नहीं.
Come again, I did not fully get it.
Now, this is not in terms of, now the efforts are in terms of knowledge and in terms of gaining skills.
Okay.
Right. So if you gain skills and if you gain that knowledge and outperform what is expected from you, then your level, there's a compounding effect to the position where you were and where you want to be. There, you are increasing those chances. I would not say it would happen, but definitely you are increasing your chances.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Nupur?
You know your normal bank accounts. The
Your
money is put, normal bank accounts. We put our
Yes.
money in, and there's a compound interest in it, right? It compounds.
Yes.
Yeah,
Always
one.
fix on a fixed deposit. You have two options. One is monthly interest. Second is compounding on the maturity. You get amount in the maturity.
Yes.
So no. What we were discussing is here is like in employment. Like Monica is saying, you will be compounding your skills in the organization. So what is the monetary angle in terms of compounding here? If you stay in the job for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, will compounding make any difference?
Very much so.
Yes.
Because
Do we understand that concept?
in some countries, for example, they give you, based on your length of service, they give you extra gratuity, such as long service leave after 10 years, pro rata. long service leave after 15 years in full. So that's because of the compounding impact.
So this is like your terminal benefits will increase.
Yeah.
No. Say, for example, Rajesh, you come and work with this company and you've been there for 10 years. For the 10 years service, you would be entitled to your normal annual leave plus what they call long service leave, which could amount to 15 weeks
Paid holiday.
paid holiday in addition to your 4.
Right.
And that's only entitlement provided if you had been with the company for that period of time.
Correct. Correct.
So that's a compound service, long service leave.
So this is one example. So any other example in terms of means application of compounding in jobs? When you join at X amount. And when you complete 1 year, you get an annual increase of, let us say, 10%. So you start getting more amount in your bank. And annually you get same increment or plus more increments over a period of time. So at the end of 10 years, depending upon the growth of the industry, your compounding can be very different. So when should we decide to change or when should we decide to use compounding? Means compounding always is a basic factor in compounding is the base. So what is your base when you start? So when you start, your base is very low. And if you take more risk in the beginning to expand the base, and then you start going to the safer options of average returns of, let us say Warren Buffett now looks for average return of 10% annually on any investments, and it is compounding with base. So like he is able to get earnings returns on all base, like his base is expanding, but still he is able to do average return of 10% on entire base. So when I say entire base means like if you have let us say 2 crores and you want to use it as an investment or you want to use it as a consumption. So if you are using it as a consumption to buy a house or buy a car or buy something, then it is out of your base because now you are not earning anything on that amount. So if you are reducing your base, and there are 2 possibilities, like you have a good base, but you are not able to earn 10% on that base. So that means you are not able to consider all the available options of getting returns. So 2 things are important. One is compounding. One is keeping the base intact.
Rajiv, when you say keeping the base intact, you're now talking that everybody is going to just hang on to cash as a base. Say, for example, just now you mentioned you take the money out, you go buy a car or you buy a house. Okay. Now, when you buy a house, you can also have compounding in that.
If you are means there are again 2 possibilities. If you are renting or you are using for own consumption. So if you are using for staying, then compounding is only in terms of value increase at the time of sale.
Yes.
But if you are renting it out, then your base is also intact and you are earning on it.
Right.
Correct. So what I am saying is, if you have achieved a base for investments, you should not reduce that base of investment, only the income you can use for consumption. Then compounding will continue to apply on that.
Oh, okay. Can you define your base for investment? What does a base mean? Can you define that?
Like I'm saying, if at the age of 20, you have, let us say $100,000, which
Uh-huh.
you can invest. You don't need it for your consumption
Okay.
at that point of time. So if you maintain this base of $100,000 and you will not remove capital out of it, so what you will consume is only portion of the returns or new income, whatever
Right.
your new income is.
Right.
So then you keep on expanding this base by increasing your savings from current investment. So
If
compounding
you,
always works on keeping the base intact or increasing every year. So base should increase or remain the same.
yeah, but you're mentioning current investment. It can also apply with long-term investment if your base has been
Yes, yes,
increased.
yes.
Ah, okay, okay.
As long as it is investment, it will be the part of the base.
Yes, okay, okay.
So what we need to understand is, if any assets we have which can give us returns and it is not giving you average return of 10%, then you should look for either switching the assets to where it can give 10% return, or you should look for increasing the returns in the same options. Like if you have three kind of investments: real estate, or in terms of share market investments, or in terms of jewelry, gold, commodity, whatever you have, which has chances of increasing the income. So all those kind of assets which can give you 10% returns, then it is good to keep in the same kind of assets. But if you calculate in 2 years time, 1 year to 2 year, increase is not 10%. So then there should be options available which can give you returns more than 10%. In that, this is like what we learned is monitoring our assets. This was one of the power leap where we understand we should monitor our asset base every year. So where we have invested and how much returns we are getting. If our returns are less than 10%, or there are options of getting more returns, then we should try to see where we can adjust our risk returns ratio. So that will help in compounding. Like what we are talking about is compounding, how we can utilize compounding to become wealthy over a period of time. So what I was discussing is base. Any doubt on base, understanding the base? Or like I was also discussing on employment, compounding in employment, how we can get maximum advantage out of the job to use it for compounding is like saving. There we start with the saving from our current income to increase the base. So once base is started creating, you start compounding from there that day. As long as your base is 1 plus, you are already working on compounding. So what I am saying is, don't try to consume your base, try to increase your base every day or every month or every year, and then monitor. And if you think your assets are earning less than 10%, then you should look for alternative opportunities where investment returns can be 10% plus. So 10% is, I am just giving a benchmark. It can be 8, it can be 12, depending upon the economy of the country. But normally we assume that it should be more than the inflation rate of the country. If you are earning less than inflation rate, that means you are just paying out of your pocket. You are not increasing your buying power for future. Means money is, why we consider money is important is because of its purchasing power. So inflation is reducing its purchasing power, and returns what we are getting is increasing its purchasing power. But like in this scenario of war between Russia and Ukraine, means I'm not going to the political side of it, but currency loss, like due to this, ruble has crashed against major currencies. So if assets are in terms of like most of the assets will lose, real estate value may change, investments in shares may change. If you are holding currency, definitely it is going to reduce. So these are like shocks. In terms of investment, we call them a shock. These are like shocks which can happen to the economy, and it can happen to any country, not necessarily Russia and Ukraine.
You see, that's where the challenge is, in the concern, I should say, not challenge. The concern is to keep money in cash or in liquid form, mainly because it's so dependent, it's highly dependent on external factors that you have no control over. The banks, the RBI or the Reserve Bank, can raise or drop interest rates. It impacts that. In this particular case that you're talking about, Russia, a lot of Western economies have frozen their imports and exports into Russia. Therefore, that's impacted the consumerism there. Therefore, it's impacted the ruble downfall. Many Western banks have closed on the swipe, which Russia never expected. Therefore, the credit cards are gone for a toss. Therefore, the consumer is now left high and dry. Whatever cash he's got, he's spending it, and he's left with nothing left. And whatever he had value a month ago, today is not as valuable, primarily because the ruble has fallen. Now, I was reading an article. These are the things that I say external impact. I was reading an article that Procter & Gamble has put out. Procter & Gamble on Russia. Procter & Gamble has 2% interest in revenue coming out of Russia and Ukraine. That revenue is the total contribution to Procter & Gamble's worldwide economy. That amounts to $16 billion US, 2%. Now, what has happened is they've frozen all the activities in Russia. So the consumer there now won't be able to buy shampoo, won't be able to get these type of things which Procter & Gamble used to send before. And that's impacted the currency, that's impacted the economy, and therefore further downturn. So each one of these things are external factors.
Yes, yes. This is what I was talking about. But this is like a shock in
Yes.
economy, and we always assume that there will be a cycle of shocks in financial market also, in economy also. This is like external factor affecting your decisions.
Yes.
Right. So this is like some external factors which can happen, which has happened in India also. In 2008 financial crash was there. In 2000 bubble dot crash was there. In 1990 Harshad Mehta crash was there. So we assume that some external factor will come and badly affect our investments. All these principles which talk about dividing your investment, dividing share, means divide your all money into different kind of baskets, can only save you from these kind of shocks. But if you are in a panic, then it's a problem. Even all these crises will not go forever. Every crisis which comes it has an expiry date on it. But this date can be 1 month, 1 day, or 1 year. That is where we don't know how much risk will be involved. So something will happen, some event will trigger, and it will start coming to the normal. So it may come into normal in 1 year, 2 years time. So base still like that is what we called is averaging out. When I say average returns of 10%, Means some year we may have returns of 25%, 30%. Another year we might have returns of negative 20%. But when we say average 10% returns we are able to get on any kind of assets is good enough.
Welcome, Prabhu.
Hello,
Hi,
sir.
everybody.
How are you?
Hi,
Yeah.
hi.
Sir, we are discussing on compounding.
Okay, got it. Whatever you receive, you put it back.
Not necessary, but keep increasing your base.
Oh, that's one of the ways. If you earn something, put again some part of it in the investment.
And monitor it. You
Yeah.
keep increasing your base, you monitor it to the cents, and then see if it is return is 10% or not. If it is not, then you review your decisions. This is what in nutshell we have been discussing.
Fantastic.
So now your contribution, any addition to this?
It all depends upon what assets we look at. For example, even stocks or we have experience of crypto also. Like if you're earning on a regular level and if you get some good returns, we put back some of it again in the system and see the possibility of earning more on that, because what we have put is the money which we have earned.
Correct.
So we put back.
Means intention should always be, if you are not consuming, it should be invested.
Not keeping idle, not keeping just in the bank account, in the saving account.
Correct.
Even FDs also don't give, but if even if you put to FD the earn thing, it will give some return.
That's
but
true.
we explore the possibility of where higher return is there, even though there is a risk, but we put it.
So what is the ideal ratio for taking risk versus returns? Like I'm saying 10% return is minimum we should expect from any kind of investments.
So it means all FDs are out. No FD is giving you more than 7%. Even corporate FDs are not giving.
If you see over a period of 5 years, 10 years, this is changing. Earlier you were getting options of 10% returns, but when you start getting less returns, then you look for other alternative options.
Yes.
So that is what we are saying.
And this is what is happening also.
And this is what is happening also, correct.
Yeah.
And similarly, any idea on risk? How much risk we should, when we should start thinking that we are going into a high risk area?
I think when we can handle the amount of loss, if we are able to digest or handle amount of loss. For example, if we see that we are investing somewhere, for example, a lakh of rupee. Now, and there is a possibility of earning 1.5 lakhs, just hypothetical. And in case situation changes and we lose entire 1 lakh, full zero, company closes, nothing, no return, we had seen the possibility and we complete loss. If we can absorb that, then only we should go for such type of things.
But Mr. Prabhu, in my life, I have understood when you have when you have no choice and something happens suddenly and you lose everything, still life starts again.
Yes.
So there is no such amount of 100,000 or 200,000 which anybody would like to lose. I'm saying as a normal person, when you are investing, you are not investing for losing. And definitely principal amount, you want to see that any investment where what you are doing, principal amount should be intact or chances of reduction should be less.
Yes.
But
Yes.
then growth should be proportionately, I'm saying 10%, but we can assume 10, 20, 25, 30. But then risk of capital, how many people's out of 7 of us will take for capital? Like this is like raise of hand.
See, we have risk of capital every time. I think even banks close down.
Yeah. Chances are less, but yes,
But
bank closed down.
we may have 0.001% or 0.1%, but the risk is always there. Degree of risk can vary, and accordingly we also gain. Also, I mean, you have already said, the
Yes,
higher
yes.
the risk, higher the gain.
High
Many
risk, high
times we
return.
are
So,
many times we are at the right time at the right opportunity, and then we make 10 times gains.
so what I am trying to say is, like I am putting 10% return. So can we put any ratio of risk, percentage to risk, like how much risk we can take? 10% loss of capital, 20% loss of capital, or 100% loss of capital? That is my question is. On not only like exceptional investment, what you are saying is like if we invest 100,000 in cryptocurrency, we know even if we lose everything, it will not be affecting our lifestyle or our health or something. So this is like one
That's
criteria.
the worst case. That's the worst case.
I'm saying like if we have an asset base of $100,000 or $500,000, and we want to earn 10% on $500,000, like naturally, if my base is big, I want to still earn 10% of that base. I will not be emotionally involved saying that, okay, I have sufficient amount. And even if 250,000 will earn 2% is okay. So that is emotional decision. I'm saying if entire base of our assets can earn 10% average returns, then we are, if not better, equivalent to Warren Buffett. Then only
Yeah,
compounding will make a difference.
that's a fairly good return. If average we can get 10% or 12%, that works around 1% a month.
Yes. That seems to be a reasonable good return, and compounding effect, you will become multimillionaire over a period of time if you keep on increasing your base. That is what we are in nutshell talking about.
Got it. Yeah.
And this kind of risk, what you are saying, 100,000, we can take for 5% of our capital base. It should not.
One should not take 100% capital base risk. Maximum 10% of our capital we can put to
A highly risky area.
I mean, we can categorize highly risky, and then intensity of risk we reduce, and accordingly the return also will reduce.
Yes. So what we can say in nutshell is, if return on this riskiest asset will not eat up our 10% of 99% of our assets, then we should go for it.
Yeah.
It's not that we earn on 99% base and this 1% asset will take all our returns. That should not be the case.
Yes.
So when we are on that track of evaluating any kind of opportunities, then we should we take decisions and keep on investing.
So can you repeat the last two lines again?
I'm saying when we are capable of taking decisions where average return is 10%. So one asset which we are putting into highly risky area where we have a chance maybe 1% of losing entire capital. That entire capital should be less than our 10% of other income from all other assets. Then we can take that high risk. That is what I'm saying. So we should not sometime when we are tempted towards share market or any other kind of investment, when somebody comes to us with an opportunity of earning 30%, 25%, then we may like it depends on the individual to individual decision maker. somebody at that point of time may decide that I can put my 50% of capital into this area. If it goes well for 1 year, I will be able to recover entire my return will be much higher. That temptation should never happen in the life.
Mhm.
Our risky investment should be well controlled by us only. We can only control. Nobody else will be able to control our risky investments. So we should be able to take decisions considering this in mind. But I'm not saying averse to these decisions. We take those decisions. But our consciousness should increase towards those decisions. So compounding, how many of you are using currently compounding as a tool?
I do.
PPF, I have.
PPF you have. Okay.
I'd also do.
Very good. PPF is definitely a compounding asset. And definitely it falls in our category. Up to some time it was 10%. Now I think it has reduced to 8 point something
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah.
return. But it is still,
Mm.
if it is like, if we get 8%, 9% directly, and tax saving also we get.
Tax saving is also there.
Yes.
So our return will be definitely more than 10% in that case. Directly or indirectly, our returns are okay. In addition to this, where we can use compounding?
I was taught to use it in property when I was younger.
The short returns.
No. It was a term of between 18 months and 26, 28 months. Buy a property, renovate it, upgrade it, sell it, and then buy 2 properties, renovate it, upgrade it, sell it, and then buy 4 properties. I did that right through to about 5 times rotating.
So your average return in this process was more than 10% definitely.
Oh, well over, yes.
Much more.
But in this was like booming period for real estate.
No, it covered it. You know how the cycles go through a 7-year up and down. So it covered over 16 years.
16 years. So it
from
has covered all cycles.
Yes. So when I was in my, actually it was started because my first guru taught me this principle of duplication, he calls it. And he taught me how to save money and buy the first and then renovate it and then keep doing that right through till about 37, 38. Yeah.
So this compounding, safety, and expected return of 10%. All these criteria is normally fulfilled by real estate investments.
Yes.
This is like my experience also for last 25 years, 30 years. Of late, last 5 years, it is not the same. But up to 5 years before, even my experience was the same. Like increase in value of assets were more than 10%. But last 5
property
years,
we have seen. Property we have seen not last 7 years, 8 years. There is no.
last 5-6 years I have seen it is not coming 10% return. But still,
not even 5%.
No, if it is, it depends on location and purpose. If it is a commercial property rented out, then you can have 7-8% return. But then 7-8% plus appreciation, if you get at the end, it takes to more than 10%.
Sir, I
Also-
put amount in the property and I'm getting, I was getting a short return for some time. Because now they're going to hand over the property, so it is not there, but I was getting a short return of about 10 to 12%.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So all those investments which were done 10 years before, and location was good and it was commercial property, definitely 10% returns are coming.
Mhm.
So what we are saying is last 5 years, if you have bought some property in last 5 years, then appreciation or return interest will not cover 10%.
No, no.
No.
That is what we are saying. But definitely, we don't know the appreciation value in these kind of assets. Like
Yes.
if we have invested in 5 years time and we have not been getting 10% return, but maybe in 5 years time, real estate will boom again. So then average return will be 10%. So this is what we calculate in share market. This is what we calculate in real estate. Over a period of 5 years, 6 years, return in real estate is definitely 10% around, but can be more also. In shares, average return can be more than 15% also.
You see, let me just throw an out of the box thinking in here. One of the things I found in some of our countries, we don't have a diversified portfolio. And what do I mean by that? Apart from the mainstream property, shares, commodities, very few countries or very few people actually get involved in things like antiques, collectibles, and the appreciation in value in some of those is very high. Paintings,
Mhm.
coins, and we might say, okay, it's something that you buy and you hold. No, you buy and you keep. And if you're a follower, like my wife is a follower of collectible glass, mercury glass, and that appreciates in value as you rotate it. And different countries have got very high, and they actually send it to different countries as commodities to buy and sell. So, those type of things are very, it's like a niche investor, but it's something that needs to be also considered and exposed to people who want to diversify in investments.
Also, like
Great.
Arfin was saying in one of his workshop, the car he has, antique car, also keeps on increasing value every year. Am right? Am I right, Mr. David?
Yes, I had a Fiat 124 Coupe CC, and I bought it when I came out of university, and it has gone 5 times over.
Okay. So price can increase like more than inflation.
Higher, yes. But we had to do a lot of maintenance. I did a lot of maintenance, restoration, work in that. It's an Italian car, but it appreciated in value very high.
Correct. So
Same goes for things like when you buy these luxury items, which are limited edition. So you make a lot of money on that. You might feel, is she crazy? She's buying 15 lakhs wristwatch. But then after 4 years, so it might touch 22, 25 lakhs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there is no depreciation there. So that's what Arfin was mentioning, if you remember, Rajiv, that he doesn't spend money like this. If he has to spend, he will buy these kind of things, limited edition. Like he gave an example of his shoes.
Yeah.
So just don't go and buy any branded stuff and blow all your hard-earned money, because you're using and it's depreciating.
Yeah.
That's what he meant. But
fully
yes,
agree.
this
All
is a new
assets.
concept in India. Like very few people know
Very
this.
new.
Very
Exactly.
new. Yeah.
And you see, as an add-on to that, the classic example is I have never in my life purchased a new car. I've always bought a second-hand, but a very good second-hand, primarily because no sooner do you buy a new car and you drive it out of the showroom, you lose at least 15% in
it starts
its
depreciating from that very hour. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And so to buy a second-hand or buy a collector's car and then build on it, you see it appreciates. And that's what I remember having this discussion with Arfin on cars, because our interest is the same thing. And he made this point very clear. and I don't know whether it was a culture of the Western countries where the youth is taught these type of things. Go outside of the mainstream, look for these type of, who in India would be, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, who in India would be thinking about buying a very old ambassador and renovating it, reconditioning it and storing it? Very few people would, a handful of people would, but it's a value item.
Yeah, true.
So,
In,
means
in,
like,
in fact, Rajiv,
yes,
this goes well with the rarity. See, antique collection, the value of the collection is proportional to the rarity of it.
correct, correct.
Because people want to flex. See, why they buy. It is not only the asset appreciation or whatever we're thinking. It is flexing. Like, look, I have this painting. Look, I have this antique car. Now you don't have, I have.
Correct.
Okay. And the same thing is happening in the area of NFTs.
Correct.
Why a small punk? I mean, we cannot relate to the design or drawing of it. And it is valued 750 crores or 75 crores or 7.5 crores, all above crores. I mean, it is because they call it as a rare.
But Mr. Prabhu, I have only one question.
Yeah.
If like out of our group of 7 people,
Hmm.
if somebody has not invested in more than FD, like all never invested in share market, never invested in gold, never invested in let us say cryptocurrency, and all these options, after everyone has explored all these options, invested and made money, now they have launched the cryptocurrency and NFT and those things. So now they have moved from these assets to that asset after making a fortune, I will say.
Yes.
And now they are taking out of fortune, they are taking out 10% and investing in NFT or something else. But still their major assets are in the traditional assets only.
See, major are still in centralized finance circuit.
Yeah.
And they are moving now gradually to decentralized finance.
Correct, correct. So I'm saying for the new person,
because they are all these things are called assets.
Yeah, these are all assets.
These are called assets.
So my question is, if somebody has to start understanding the concept of investment, he should start from the safety towards risk.
Yes.
He should not start from risk to safety.
Yes,
Absolutely.
That is what I'm saying. So anyone like you and me are investing in shares, cryptocurrency for almost 10 years now. For me, I am investing in shares for more than 40 years.
Yeah.
So we understand these markets very well. We understand the risk. We understand the exposure, returns, average out. But if somebody is not even started in these areas, he should start from these areas first.
Yeah.
And then start thinking towards risky sides.
You first go to primary school, then secondary school, then come to university.
Yeah, absolutely, David.
Very correct.
Absolutely.
So this concept of imaginary scarcity or rare things is still in the past. Like Kohinoor diamond is moving from where to where, nobody is interested.
see the what you are seeing now is people who have traditional industry from ages, family, 10,000 workers working. They have been taken over by a guy of 21, 22 years, just in span of 3 to 4 years, by simply trading certain things online.
But that number will be not even 0.005% of
Very
population.
small percentage, yeah.
Yes.
This cannot represent the truth.
Yeah, I mean, percentage
one-
wise, this is a new this is a new way of making money.
Correct, correct. This is the new way of making money, but not necessary for everyone.
Of course not. Yeah.
I gave you example of my daughter who owned my she was told by her college friend in engineering college that crypto is good, just invest. She asked me, I also told her, okay, there's no problem, you just invest. And she invested only 10,000 rupees 4 years, 5 years back. Today it is only 2,000 rupees.
Okay. Yeah.
So it is like he means when they were doing engineering, all sorts of, she is not she has an educated father. She was already doing engineering, and all those students who are doing engineering were told to invest in cryptocurrency by someone else. So only thing is selection makes the difference.
Yes. I mean, what is how you choose something.
So, but they have no capability of choosing. Even they asked me, I was not having any awareness that after 4 years, what will happen to which currency? Nobody can have.
Information was not so adequate at that time.
Yes, 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 yes.
What it is now. Now we have good understanding what is the technology,
Correct.
and
correct.
how what is the utility. See, very important thing is what is the utility
Correct.
of the technology.
Correct.
And if that thing is good, there is a possibility that it will grow.
Correct. And at that time, my decision was also on the same ground that even if we lose 10,000 rupees, there is no problem.
Yeah, yeah.
So if this is the criteria, like 10,000 is not making any difference, and if your friend is telling you to buy, you go ahead and buy. But that cannot happen to, if you would have told me to invest 100,000 INR, I would have told no.
Hold on.
Hold on. Because from that time to now, only maybe Ethereum or Bitcoin. These are the two known currencies which has appreciated. But there
No,
are
no,
more
no,
than
no,
400.
no, 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 no. There are more than 200 coins, tokens. See, you know this space. We have shifted. That there are several, tokens which has appreciated. There are several coins which has appreciated. Some have come down. However, majority happened in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tron, Polygon. There are many of
4,
them
5,
there.
10.
There are many of them. You just
But what I am saying is like percentage. If there are 300 type of cryptocurrencies, only maybe 2% or 3% or 5% have proved very well.
Yeah, of course.
That is what I'm saying. So still, that means 85%, 90% people who
Are still
invested in other
lying there.
currencies have not made money. Right. So it is possible again that risk reward should be reviewed thoroughly and invested in proportion, not like everything, not entire investments. And definitely not by borrowing money. You don't borrow money and put in cryptocurrency for sure. Don't do it.
Not at all.
Not
even property.
Not even selling property and putting in cryptocurrency. For
Buying, taking on loan and then buying a property, and if it remains stagnant, you are gone.
It's like playing a poker game.
Yeah, poker game. Expecting, it's like, earlier there was a small temptation. We were getting loans at 11%, and there were other guys who were ready to pay 18% if we loan them.
Correct.
So it was a good idea. Take loan on 11%, give them on 18%. But if the 18% people don't repay you back, you are screwed.
So
Actually, it's interesting you say that, Prabhu, because there was a jeweler, a company in Chennai that this is going back to 2001 through to about 2005, 6, in the not the peak, but in the rise of the property boom. He was having a store and he was promoting so much of jewelry, gold.
Yeah.
But what he did was he was borrowing it from the sharks, and he was giving interest rates out that he expected to buy back later on gold.
Yeah.
And it collapsed on him because they asked him to refund his money, and he just didn't have anything. So they foreclosed his business. And it was a huge grand showroom on the main street of Chennai in a place called T Nagar. And there was
There
such
were
a
a lot
big
of jewelers, sir.
yes, there was such a big hullabaloo about that. And I recall because it was a first trip in there, and gold was foreign to us. We never invested in gold. In our countries, foreign countries, gold is not a prominent thing that you go and invest in, apart from the jewelry that you wear and your parents own and pass it down. Huge
So
lesson.
most of the small jewelers work on this compounding only,
Ah, right.
particularly low income group. They will have, tiny items like a earring or a chain, and then they
correct.
Right, right.
finally it's just grabbed by
Yeah,
the
Jyoti, I don't remember again the name of the guy who made 22 billion at the age of 22 just by buying Bitcoin at one place for $10,000 and selling at other
18,000.
exchange for $11,000.
Mhm.
Just 1,000 difference made him
Correct,
so
correct.
big. And
This
he kept
story-
on doing it. And it's a proof, like $22 billion he earned in span of 4 years, 4.5 years.
Price difference in different exchanges.
Yeah.
So this is
But
like
you have
now-
to have guts also. You see, Rajiv, you have to have guts also.
Yes.
Like
yes.
when
Even
you
now,
buy something and other exchange dips down, then where you are going to upload it.
Correct. But you need to have, this is the same, risk calculation and reward calculations are everywhere. You don't sell your house and start buying Bitcoin here and sell in another exchange.
That should not be the way of investing at all.
At all, correct.
At all.
But you were saying on properties also, I will suggest that even if properties are evergreen, it may have reduced returns in last 4 or 5 years. But if you have 50% of the capital and you can borrow 50% from the bank, and your selection of location is good, your purpose is good, then you can still make 10% return or more.
Yeah, sometimes your selection of property goes haywire.
Yeah. Because when your emotion should not come into the picture. When you are investing in real estate for house, then we can understand that emotions are there of family, that we have to live in this house, so we have to be very luxurious house, everything. But when you are doing it for commercial purposes, you are starting from the decision of selection of property and area, location of investment, and who can rent, that all those factors have to be considered in mind. But I have seen now so many options are available where 10 years rent agreement with multinational companies, properties are available for buying. Like, so those kind of investment, if you calculate and you take 50% loan, 50% your money, then you can make definitely recycle, like Mr. David was saying, in 10 years, 3-4 cycle can be possible.
Possible.
From
See,
rent,
definitely.
from rent you pay installments and interest, and then keep on circulating that money.
It needs lot of calculation. It is a calculated risk.
Means then
However, I still agree with David that if you buy a painting and if you know the way it is sold in the market, I think that is again a very good investment, because some painters are always sought after world over.
But you will need a lot of antique
Let me
knowledge
give
in
you-
that.
Yeah, let me give you an example. Again, going back when I was an employee of an oil and gas company, the name of the company is called ARCO. Now, ARCO had a philosophy, and it is in its code. It had a philosophy where it said, being an international company, it would go to each country that it did, set up an office there. But its artifacts, it was a collector of art also. Its artifacts were of local artists. So they would get a local agency to help them purchase. And as they went through country by country, setting up the agencies or setting up their oil and gas exploration work, they used to invest in art. That's where I got this interest, by the way. They used to invest in art. And so when they set up office here in Australia, I recall Jerry came through and he said to me very simply, he said, I need to have a very good office coordinator, the office manager, as they call it, office coordinator, who is fluent in understanding a bit of accounts. And I couldn't understand why he wanted that criteria. When we got Moy Para, the girl was good, and she helped the parent company select to the tune of about 75 artifacts.
Wow.
And the initial, because we had 6 floors, you see, the initial layout was to the tune of about $1.5 million US. Oil and gas company, they're working in millions, so that is not a huge amount. Now, when they closed shop 26 years after that mine had gone down, that $1.5 million art was valued to the tune of 48 million US dollars.
Significant.
Now, that's the difference. Finding a niche and getting into it as such. And in those days, obviously, Bitcoins and none of that was there, so I couldn't make any comparisons. But this is how it was.
But this this antiques digitalization will increase the number of buyers because of you can buy into fractions.
Right.
So this will increase the demand of these kind of assets.
I mean, we can't buy in fraction this paintings, right?
No, over a period of time, it will come.
See, in Bitcoins, you can buy like 0.0001 Bitcoin also you can buy. Or any crypto you can buy in fractions.
Even,
but it is
NFT
unheard.
even NFT in the future will come like this.
NFT is full, you know. You have to buy up the full piece.
Maybe at present it is the same, but when it is, it will increase. It will go same like it's a currency.
It will be like a shared. See, basically, it is a ownership of that particular collection.
But one painting can be owned by 10 people in fractions.
It could be shared ownership.
Shared ownership.
Correct. But see, it will not have an ease of selling. Because some owner will like to retain or some.
That is what I'm saying. Ease of selling will only prompt for number of buyers and sellers together. Yeah. So that for that purpose only it has to be like it will go into fractions. Because if you want to buy full, there is an option you buy all fractions. But if you want to sell in fractions, sell the same painting in fractions, it should be possible. Means you buy full, then you can sell in fractions over a period of time. Like cryptocurrency, you buy 10, then you sell 0.0, 0.5, 0.2. So you don't liquidate entire in a go. Based on the need, you sell. But if you have a property of antique, which is $2 million, and you don't need $2 million, you need only $100,000, then you cannot sell it.
Yeah.
So that concept will come now or later. So I think we have sufficient discussion on compounding. If someone has more insight into how we can utilize compounding or uses of compounding. Knowing is one thing, using is another thing. That is what we were discussing, how and where we can use compounding to increase our wealth.
Once again, I would like to say, Rajiv, in cryptocurrency, this our T-bag, what we're talking about. But they say if you recover your investment, then whatever you get, you can keep adding that. You keep adding, and you know, you will have that crypto token which will be converted to coin later stage. So if the value of that increases,
Yes.
you will have a huge return.
Correct.
Otherwise, also you have taken back your returns earlier.
Correct, correct.
Only or go for compounding only after getting back your returns.
This is fine. Means this is like testing of asset.
Yes.
There can be initial period of testing of assets, and then you can see whether you want to reinvest in the same or you want to reinvest in something else.
Yeah, if you got your return back, then you have a choice open.
But if, when you will get return back, that means value of that asset has already appreciated to 20, let us say,
Yeah.
for example. So if you want to reinvest into that asset, you will start investment from 20 with an assumption that it may go to 30, 40, 50 in future. So risk is the same. Risk will remain the same.
Again, I beg to differ. You know, after recovering it, thereafter, if you continue gaining in the same system, whatever returns the way it was coming, you have isolated your principal investment, and then whatever returns comes thereafter in the continuity, use that for compounding, not your principal investment.
Correct, correct.
And that is my point of view.
That's okay. That applies to all kind of returns.
Yeah.
Means all kind of assets gives you the return to do that. One second. Hello. Ali bhai.
The rate of inflation every year.
Yeah.
So what is generally the rate of inflation every year?
It all depends upon how your currency is getting valued in international market. How is the domestic product that is, you know, like your farm produce. There are several factors that affect the inflation.
Yeah.
If your farm produce is less, definitely inflation will go up. But if it is overwhelming, then definitely there are chances that inflation will not go up. But if there's in the case of war,
yes,
what is happening? You know, our rupee dollar, it has almost reached 79 or something.
77. Today is 77 around.
77. Okay, 77 it has reached. I thought this
is like exceptional time now because of the war situation. It is depreciating fast, but it's possible.
Otherwise, on average, what can one say that an average rate of inflation per year is how much?
Normally, it is 5 to 6% is a healthy.
5 to 6%.
I think 3 to 4% maximum. 3 to 4%.
Depending upon, like in Europe, since last 15 years, it is consistently near to zero.
But it is assumed that they are keeping it deliberately.
Yes. But for consumer, the year without inflation is a saving. Whether it is kept deliberately means cost is borne by the government. When you say it is kept deliberately to zero level, that means consumers are benefiting and cost of that is borne by the government to stabilize the prices. So which is okay. For us, we will consider what is the increase or decrease in the inflation.
Boys brought.
Anything else we need to discuss in compounding? Otherwise, we can finish the session.
Yeah, I think that's got a good input.
Correct.
Today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, the beauty of your session, this is like we are so much open. We talk about all the things. We put it forward, and we have such a good brain like David, Jyoti.
We can 1 minute give condolence to Isha ji. Isha ji.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So we are very sorry about your brother.
Yeah, I know.
So
Let's give 1 minute silence
yes,
Oh.
yes.
for.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ishaji. So he was suffering from cancer.
He was suffering from cancer, but he
Oh.
didn't die of cancer. He got a
Oh.
lung infection and his lung collapsed,
Oh,
and then he died because he
okay.
couldn't come back.
So he was your elder brother?
No, my second younger brother.
Second younger brother. Okay.
He was 72.
72. That's nice.
But today, 72 is young to die.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
This
Yes.
average age has increased.
Today, 92 is young.
Oh, well, you know,
I'm sorry.
you know,
I
in
have
in
to
the
put some spice.
while we were discussing, I went and prepared tea to my dad. He says it's high time. I don't want to leave. It's high time. And I'm like, you are just 88. Look at those
Yeah.
people who are 94.
I know.
Yes.
Correct, correct.
Why you are so much this thing? No. And he's getting irritated every now and then. Well, it's all right. You get irritated. I'll bear with it.
You're
you know,
talking about
this
that,
is-
that 4 weeks ago, my uncle in Trivandrum, Kerala,
Yeah.
he celebrated his 101 birthday.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
No, that
And
is
yeah, and what happened was they were cutting the cake and everything. We had Zoom connect from here, obviously. And he was looking so close to Zoom and said, "The screen is not clear. Get a cloth and wipe it down."
That's a beauty.
101.
Centurion.
Where is he in
Very-
Trivandrum? Where is he in Trivandrum?
He's in a place that is called Peta, you know, the railway station.
Peta,
Yes,
Peta.
yes.
Okay.
I've been to Trivandrum. I have stayed for a couple of days, and
Right, right.
for some medical, there was a project coming in, so I stayed in a resort also there.
Okay.
I'm settled in Trivandrum. That's why I asked.
Very
You're
good.
settled in Trivandrum.
You
Yeah.
come back to George. You have come back to Bombay. From Bombay, you have gone to Trivandrum now.
No,
Or
no,
you
no.
are
He's
in-
still in Muscat.
I'm in Muscat only,
He's
nowhere
only-
else.
You said that you have. You are in Muscat now. All right.
Maybe somebody else, some other George. or
He's
some
in
other
Muscat for
Martin.
last 20 years.
We have one more George.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have one more George.
Okay, incognito George.
So next week will
Yeah.
be our 12th power league.
Final,
Final power league.
huh?
Yes. So I was proposing that 1 week more we will take on experience sharing on this 12 power league.
Sure. And I think we should keep this group active, something to be posted. Maybe once in a month
Yes,
we
yes,
can,
yes, yes.
we
Group
can
will always
join
be
and see
posted.
something like that.
I will create a group on Facebook also where we can interact also.
Okay.
That will be awesome. Okay. All right, Rajit.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
everybody
Thanks.
for their
Thank you.
inputs.
Mr. David, if you come, I can take one picture. If you
Oh.
can start your video.
Yep, for sure. How's that?
Okay. Smile, everyone.
Smile.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank
Thank
you
you so
sir.
much. Take care now.
Bye. Take care.
Bye. Keep the guys
Bye-bye.
in
See you.
So
Australia
just check
going floods.
and post this all photographs that you have.
Yes,
taken.
yes. I will do.
Let me see how we look in your photograph.
Sure. Thank
Good.
you.